Thank you for sitting with me today, everybody. Thank you to everybody online. So nice to see you all as well. Today, I was thinking about a lot what to share this week. Um, there's a lot of different challenges that working with meditation, Buddhism, any sort of kind of non-dual system brings to how we think about the world. And I think one thing that can be a little confusing is how we think about longing, yearning, attachment, right? There's a lot of things that say no attachments, cut them all off, X, Y, Z. And it's tricky to understand what that actually means, no attachments. And so just one way I've been thinking about it this week was nothing is all bad or all good, in my opinion, or in how I understand the teachings. There's nothing that's purely evil or good. There's everything in each situation. And I was thinking about this really hard month I had last month. I was driving home from Minnesota. My friend had a baby, went out to help. Super cute weekend, so fun. Driving home at night, pass by the monastery, see them in Wisconsin, and then I'm going home in my monk's clothes, and I guess my front right headlight had gone out without me knowing. So I get pulled over. I'm just oh, I'm not speeding, not really doing anything. What do I got pulled over? And the night ends with me getting arrested in a town of 498 in the just middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, in the middle of the night, just on the way home. And so it was a really hard night. I've dealt with a lot of police brutality and racism, whatever, in my life. And so this wasn't quite shocking or new to me, but still, it's not easy. It's a hard experience. And last week, I got the case dismissed and the charges dropped. So I'm not going to jail, which is great. Nothing happened, so I really shouldn't be. So that is glad, or I am glad. But there was a moment where I was sitting in the cell. It was the middle of the night. I had texted my partner just my location, and then they took my phone. And I was just I hope they figure it out. It's just, I hope they're awake, one, and I hope they figure it out. And I was sitting in the cell for a while. I had already gotten to talk to my partner on the phone. They were on the way. They paid bail, but it wasn't showing up in the system, so they made me go change and get in the cell anyways. I was just sitting there for a few hours. And at first I was just, I felt a lot of things. I was frustrated, I was angry, I was hurt. And for a while, after I got to make the call and be okay, I know that in some fashion, I'm gonna get out in the next today or tomorrow because I know people are on the way. And people who know how to navigate this system and who are really good community members to me. I wasn't sure who was coming, but I knew they would pick a few friends and people would come. And so at first I thought, let me just push this feeling away until later. I'll deal with whatever, the breakdown later. I don't want to lose control of myself, maybe was what I was thinking, or I just don't want to be overwhelmed. I'm already in this terrible situation. I've already, suffered a bunch of traumas tonight and unnecessary violence. Let me just not suffer more was kind of my thought. So I was trying to calm myself down, things like that, which was nice. I regulated my nervous system. That felt good. But then there came a point where blocking out the pain that I was experiencing also felt like violence to myself. Not letting myself feel that grief felt like another, cage that I was putting around even just a little feeling in myself. And so I let it come in. I let all those feelings come in, and I was fine. Grief didn't kill me that day. I was good. But the part of longing and desire in that moment, I was thinking just so deeply of how I wanted to be free and how I kind of was filled with this huge gratitude that I really did trust that my people were coming to get me. I've spent years and years building community. We take care, me and my friends, I'm so lucky to have such a abundant, caring, huge no debt, no transaction feeling relationships with that are very hard to maintain and cultivate. And we're trying our best to do it. We obviously don't do it all the time, but we're trying really hard to live like we all deserve, like we all believe we deserve the care we really do. And to believe that about ourselves and the people around us means we are able to help each other in really deep and profound ways. And I kind of had this like beautiful, I don't know, little moment of just like grief and everything, just feeling it all, kind of feeling a little infinite in that moment, and a bunch of stuff I could never try to put words to, so I just won't bore you with it. But when I think of what I need from my practice and what I hope from the practice of the people around me, is not that they become detached, that they become comfortable, that they become even just happy. Those are great things to be, grounded, not detached. That's a kind of a tricky word, but to be grounded through any situation, to be able to look rationally, to be able to feel joy and be comfortable. Those are all great. But my ultimate goal would be to get free. And so it's a huge ask, but from me, I think what I ask of people who practice with me is to let your heart break. I think so often we don't want to let the pain in. We don't want to really see things fully for what they are because it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to look at the world and see how much we are hurting each other, how much pain and violence is out there. To really recognize the deep amount of care that we need and lack. But through that heartbreak, the type of care we can provide each other by knowing the amount of light that we all need to let in, I think can expand infinitely. For me, it feels huge and boundless to know if I feel my heartbreak, that means I can recognize truly that our hearts are breaking at every day. We have children, we have friends, we have to see them go through the world. We see things we can't touch. We see oppression that we can't really mitigate without our circle, farther than the people we can see. But there's also, and not to say, I'm glad I got arrested so my friends could help me out. No, they can help me out any day. I'd much rather have a cookie on a Sunday morning. That's a great way to help me. But that was also the work of liberation. That's not an obstacle to it. That was the work of me. And liberation, get free, these are big words, whatever it means to you. Loving purely, loving unobstructedly, being able to understand the conditions and to not fall apart, but fall into yourself and into other people. I think for me, this is what the practice brings together. And this is kind of the path that at least I see as I go forward on my training. And with my friends is that letting our heart break can be so scary. It can be really hard, but that's when we bring everybody in. And I'm a very independent, or I used to be very independent, do it myself, don't tell anybody about any of my struggles sort of person. And I was thinking of if this happened to me, 10 years ago when I was in college, I wouldn't have probably told anybody. I would have been stuck in jail all weekend until I saw a judge, and I would have tried to figure it out all on my own, not let anybody know I needed money or burden them, don't want to let my parents find out, things like that. But now I felt unashamed and just like, hey, y'all, my heart's breaking and I need some help. And people organized, GoFundMe's, paid for the legal fees, got help. It's dismissed now. It's not on my record. All those things happened. But I don't think they could have happened if I was trying to protect myself from heartbreak. I don't think I could have looked at things for what they were. And I don't think I could have said, I really need help, and then asked for it. And so, a long-winded, more personal sharing today. Thank you all for listening. But my, thoughts this week are around not leaning away from the things that break our heart, but instead asking for what we need to get through that heartbreak, not even to mitigate it. We can mitigate it. That's nice. Some days you just need to get up and brush your teeth. That's fair. You don't have to push yourself past capacity. But if there's some curiosity there, sometimes it can teach us how to bring in things that care for us much more consistently. So we're not always having to reach out people are there reaching out to us, and we become a true community, true Sangha, where we really take care of each other and help each other feel free. So that's my sharing for today.